Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sphons CCW Live Show. We got for you tonight a bunch of stuff, some good news finally on the concealed carry front. A little bit of stuff going on here in the state of Ohio. Class schedule, 10/17, spots left. That's just a couple weeks away. Today's the 2nd, so 15 days, 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
11/1, we got spots left. 11/15, we have spots left. So that's the spots for the next 3 upcoming CCW classes. Pistol fundamentals on 10/10, we got some spots left in there. NRA basic rifle, 10/24, just a couple left in there. So if you want one of them, get on over to the website. Rifle instructor, we have I think 3 or 4 left in that one.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you want to get your instructor cert for rifle, you can head on over there. That's 10, 24, and 25. 10/11, rimfire sniper shoot. Always a really good time. This will be the second one we've put on. The last one was a riot. So 10/22, Law Shield seminar. And here's the thing. If you sign up for the Law Shield seminar and put cash in your checkout option, then they are going to not charge you at the door, which means it's going to be free.
If you're not a member,
if you're not a member, if you're a member, it's going to be free anyway. So you don't have to pay for it.
Both of those are at the Minerva Sportsmans Club.
Yes. Yep. Let's see if I can find this video so I can keep it. I'm just going to go to the top of the page and be done with this. All right. Good enough. So, you want to ask a lawyer some kind of self-defense question, then come to the Law Shield seminar. It's free. You got nothing to lose, right? So everybody should attend at least one of them. You can ask a bunch of questions, and you don't have anything laid out. There's a real lawyer there, and a good one. So that gets you, a unique opportunity to go and ask all the questions you've been wondering about. We can only take you so far. Sometimes people will ask us stuff that we don't know. We're not lawyers. We're the gun guys, not the lawyer guys. We know enough, but lawyers are going to be where it's going to be at. Range tip. Pay attention to your offhand. For the righties, it's the left. For the lefties, it's the right. Where's your muzzle direction? Especially if you're working on that one-handed presentation, you're working on the close-in shooting, anything like that. Make sure this hand comes in here to the chest. And this kind of follows along with our video tonight. We like to kind of pair things up. You really, really want to know where this offhand is at. There's a multitude of uses to bring it in here, especially if you're one-handed. You go for a magazine, give a push-off, not shoot holes in your own hand. That was the biggest one.
And a lot of this stuff, even a lot of our range and carry tips, right along the way goes off. It's just building blocks off the fundamentals, and it all stems back to a lot of fundamentals and those 4 always rules. And it's always loaded. You don't want to
don't want to point it.
You don't want to point it at anything. You don't want to point it at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. So yourself included. Those always rules work. There's a reason they're the always rules. They always work. Whether you're out there in a field by yourself or in a crowd of people or, whether you're, third guy in on a SWAT team, that rules always work. So none of that, it doesn't matter. And there's no excuses for not saying that, oh, well, I had to because of this. No, it's no excuse. And, paying attention to what your hands and body is doing, and, trying to not sweep yourself, during a draw, doing a lot of different things is key.
Yeah. And that's going to set you up for success later when you start thinking about your leg positions and different things when you're sitting down, vehicles, moving around, keeping stuff out of the way, and even, getting that offhand, with that practice, getting it inside into your, right up against your chest, inside of your workspace. That's gonna set you up for a more efficient draw stroke. It's gonna set you up for a more efficient presentation. You're gonna move time off getting it from the holster to the target. It's just that those blocks are cumulative. You can't skip one and expect success on the last one.
Well, how many times do we see on the range where people get to an more experienced class and they're going like this?
Yeah.
It's like, get your hand away from the muzzle.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time.
Yeah, it's getting that hand inside of your workspace is extremely important. Carry tip. If you've taken one of our classes, you've heard this statement. The attitude stays in the safe when the gun comes out. The amount of people that take the carry mindset the wrong way is there's still too many of those out there. There's a lot of good tools for a lot of different things, and as we'll see a little later, your pistol isn't always the best tool for the job, right?
No. Well, it's like you say all the time, you don't need a 10-pound sledgehammer for every problem.
No, and the thing about staying calm, using your head, setting yourself up for a win tactically and legally is, I think getting more important as the days go by in this, what the general public thinks is a new concealed carry market. It's actually pretty old, but there's a lot of focus on this lately, and it's our job as gun owners and people who carry a firearm to be professional, be courteous, and to not do stuff that is going to jeopardize the community as a whole, not only the gun owning community, but everybody around us. Right.
One of our viewers made a comment. He says the gun owner's plan that I have gives you a legal plan that allows you to get legal help anytime you have a question and more. And my answer to him was, I sent it up. The ability to consult that lawyer and get all of your questions answered long before anything happens it's an invaluable resource to you.
Yeah.
You can get so many things, and it can change your plan, your tactics, your attitude. All of that can change of now thinking about, well, okay, what kind of legalities do I have? What can I, can I do this? Can I do that? What about in these certain situations? And
and we see it all the time that, we go over the laws in every class we do, and also the 5 elements of self-defense and what the legal ramifications of that may be. And you get all done at the end of the day and talk to people, and probably 10 to 15% say, well, this class was good, but I don't know if I'm really going to carry a gun.
They're just not willing to.
Yeah,
they're not willing to follow the rules.
Right.
And the unfortunate part about that is, just because they took the class doesn't mean that anything has really changed in the world or in the laws section.
Right.
It's been that way
for a long time.
A long time. Literally, self-defense law was written during the Revolution.
Well, and that's what I mean. we go over the AG handbook, and we got the elements of self-defense, and a lot of those especially in the elements of self-defense are very can carry
basic,
over
really.
and carry over to a lot of other states. Whereas the AG's handbook, we deal with Ohio, so we're that book itself is specific to Ohio. Is there elements that carry over to other states? Absolutely, but the 5 elements that stuff absolutely carries over to it, and it's just
AOJ
it just
triad and
amazes
all that
me
stuff,
so much that after all this time and this many people in Ohio that have taken the course, and after all these years, that there's just still so much misinformation out there from that you get from all kinds of people, and it's just it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is mind-boggling. So attitude goes in the safe when the gun comes out. Remember that. Growing issue here, and I want to pop this news article in before we get to our video. This is, and look at the bill number, House Bill 614. Governor DeWine has signed this. It's got an emergency provision in it, so it goes into effect immediately. This was signed 10/1/2020. What this says, it's going to extend concealed handgun license expiration dates. So, in a nutshell, if your license is scheduled to expire between March 9th, 2020 and June 30th, 2021, the expiration date is extended by 90 days or until June 30th, 2021, whichever is later. So essentially what this says is no license is going to expire until June 30th, 2021. The other thing that is very, very important that's in this bill, until June 30th, 2021, you can apply for a license or renew a license at any sheriff's office in Ohio. You're not limited to your home county or an adjacent county. Okay. So that's really, really important that people understand that their license expiration has gone to June 30th, 2021, and you can apply in any county in the state of Ohio. So
that possibly could help me.
It might.
Mine expires in April.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to want to start calling around for appointments.
Call now for an appointment.
Yeah. So,
2021.
In any event, make sure that you still wise to get an appointment. The crappy part about it is we have a CHL exemption when you buy a firearm. If it's expired, the state of Ohio doesn't care, but all of the surrounding states are going to still care, and the federal government still cares. So the exemption is not going to be good for buying a gun if your license is expired. So,
and that brings up a good point that I don't know if all of you caught that, and we're going to kind of spell this out a little bit of. If you're a traveler, if you're thinking, and we got guys, you guys we're coming into deer season, guys go over to Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, all over the place. If you're a traveler and you do, a lot of traveling, you go over, you go down to the casino, you go over to, Cabela's, Pennsylvania, Allegheny, all that stuff. You may be good in Ohio with your concealed carry license being expired, and nobody's going to really bat an eye on it. But as soon as you cross those state lines, you are now following their state laws. So I'm not seeing another, the state of Pennsylvania making an exemption for the state of Ohio's concealed carry license being valid, being honored for that time. So you just be sure that you pay attention to that and still check your license date just to make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble.
You guys
you got it 2021 too.
March 3/2. Oh man.
And so like you said, we're all out here checking our licenses. This could affect me too. Here come April, probably the first of the year, maybe even come December, I might start calling around looking for an appointment for renewal.
Yeah.
So just something to just something to think about. You don't want to get yourself in trouble based on a goofy technicality of slipping across the state border.
And we got stupid ads. Okay, so we'll see if we can close these ads. A dash cam video shows a driver firing through a windshield at another vehicle on the highway. There's a short version and a long version. We're gonna watch the short version. I'm gonna go full screen with this for you guys, and I can't do that. So let's see if we can open this up in a YouTube pane and watch the stupid ad. And YouTube's got to make money some way or another. So live on to Orange County. Here's the dude lighting rounds off in the car. Look at his passenger ducking like crazy. He's probably getting pelted with grass.
And loud.
Oh my gosh, that's got to be loud. So as we progress on in the video here,
I think he's trying to get out.
Yeah, can you blame him? So what's going on here is some backstory. I watched the whole thing, and there's a small sports car that came racing up next behind him. Looked like they were both aggressively driving. This gentleman that we see in the picture here, he brake checked the sports car. The sports car drove out around him and then loaded a handgun in the vehicle and then pointed it at him as he was going by. And I think this video will highlight some of this. As you can see that, he cocks the firearm, and let's go take a look at that again here. Stupid player right there. So you can see, if you on the full screen video, you can see where he cocks the firearm, which I don't understand why this particular person would load the firearm, attempt to load it in the vehicle. I don't know if they got mad or what the gig was, but here's some of the footage of the car following him and then trying to get around him. And you can see how he brake checks the guy like that. What we really want to talk about is, and this goes really back to the element of innocence and not being responsible for starting or escalating the situation. In something like this looks like a mutual argument.
Yeah.
Right? These two guys decide that they're going to have an argument with their 6,000-pound vehicles on the highway doing, and if you notice the speed,
6 miles an hour.
86 miles an hour.
74.
Yeah. So they're doing over 80 miles an hour, almost 90. And this is completely irresponsible by both parties. If you notice here, if you look really close, you can actually see this gentleman hang the pistol out of the window in the sports car. And this news organization is horrible. So we're just going to skip their crap. But what I really want you guys to, what I can tell you is this particular individual, not only does he not have, I would bet really close to zero training with his firearm, because I want you to watch him, eyes up, and then watch how bad he flinches. He's not even looking where he's shooting.
His eyes are closed.
Looking down. And then what's he do? He
Finger
points,
on the trigger.
Finger on the trigger, points his gun right at his own body.
Yeah.
So if that car was actually firing at him, you got the sympathetic reaction thing. You're trying to drive and you're going to point the gun at your junk. Not a good idea. This whole thing is a cluster, to say the least, right?
Looks like two idiots just 2 absolute morons.
Well, 3 actually.
Yeah, the other guy.
The other guy in the other car pointing the gun at this dude, right?
Mm.
So I think that's pretty much the end of it. Some stupid reporters' views on it. And I agree with this article. Don't brake check somebody. Take an exit if someone's being aggressive to the point where you're concerned. Don't shoot through your windshield while driving down the highway, or at all for that matter, if you're driving down a highway. It's going to be really, really difficult to hit a moving vehicle inside of a moving vehicle through a windshield. You're endangering the other people on the roadway. You have no idea where these rounds are going.
And the guy's doing 80, 90 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Pile
on the brakes.
Well, if he'd have just, when the guy went by, just and saw that he had a gun, hammer the brakes down.
Yeah.
Get in behind him, because he's gonna have to turn around. Yeah. Hammer the brakes down and get in behind him, and he's gonna be way off before he even figures out what's going on.
It says, luckily they weren't injured, but the situation could have been entirely avoided if this driver didn't feed into the rage, which is 100% accurate. The driver fed into the rage. He brake checked a man. He stayed close to him. If you watch the full video, and this is found at concealednation.org.
I don't like their caption they have for the high-speed self-defense shoot.
That's
high-speed shooting in Florida.
Yeah, high-speed shooting. Maybe the guy's going to get away with a self-defense claim because the other driver did point his firearm at him first. But like we've been telling everybody, tactics and legalities are a couple of the most important things when you're in one of these situations. Obviously, the guy does not have enough training, is not good enough to actually hit that moving vehicle from a moving vehicle. I mean, just judging from he looked down every time he pulled the trigger. You could tell by his arms he was driving the pistol down. I would bet there's probably holes in the hood of his vehicle that he was driving.
Well, and even if it turns out that they come out and say that, well, he was legally justified, that doesn't really make it right. You hear that in some of these situations. You really got to look, and they go, well, I was legally justified. Well, that doesn't always 100% remove.
What's legal?
What might be legal? It might not always be prudent, and you might still be a dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just so many different things that could, many different things that could have went.
So much stuff to just
it's
not copacetic.
It's mind-boggling. And
look, even the caption shows the dude. He's shooting with his eyes closed. Look at that right there. Shooting with your eyes closed. Yeah. And his passenger's trying to get around.
His passenger flopped his seatbelt off and looked like he was ready to bail.
Right?
Yeah.
At 80 miles an hour.
80 miles an hour, yeah.
Well, this says 90 right there.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of this flying machine.
Yeah. I mean, so, yeah, think about tactics before you go lighting off rounds, running down a road. That's almost an impossible shot. I mean, it's just not going to work out real well. Attitude goes in the safe when the gun comes out. So that's what we got for that one. Hopefully somebody learned something from that. Don't start or escalate the situation, especially when it comes to road rage.
Well, and you're also, remember, the bullet that comes out of the end of that, you are liable for it until it comes to rest laying on the ground. So,
Yeah, if he hits oncoming traffic, if he hits an innocent vehicle, if he hits a stop sign,
if
he's responsible for it.
If you shoot, especially hardened tempered window glass like that, when you hit the glass, it deflects the rounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not only that, sprays glass in your face.
It sprays glass in your face, but if you actually, the right way to shoot through glass is to shoot a hole in the glass and then shoot through the hole.
Yeah.
Every time you strike the glass, it deflects the round.
Yeah, and obviously he wasn't seeing where he was shooting, or he couldn't have.
Yeah,
no. So had his eyes closed.
Yeah. Didn't you know? Well, he shot like 7 or 8 holes in the glass, but not one big enough to shoot through.
No.
So don't do that. Onto the news. Everybody's in the shooting sports industry and world have kind of realized that Remington is bankrupt. They're selling off their assets. Ruger is to acquire Marlin. So Ruger has been awarded in the Northern District of Alabama. Substantially all the firearms assets was accepted by Remington Outdoor. Vista is getting the ammunition business, I do believe.
Yeah.
Vista loads for Federal, Spear, CCI, Blazer. There's a couple other ones. Somebody's getting Sierra Bullets is getting Barnes, I do believe.
The good news, we all hate, we're all in the gun community. We all don't, we don't like to see, good, no, my phone. Companies like Remington go out and, stuff like that. The good news is that there's some very large, pretty decently stable companies have acquired the assets to try and keep, Remington might go away, but
as a company, but their products aren't going to go away.
Their products aren't going to go away, and all of the assets that they owned aren't going to go away.
No, because all of their ammunition loading stuff, I would imagine that Vista would just incorporate the brand and fire the plant up and let it rock and roll. And then you'll see the Remington brand ammunition just move forward seamlessly. I would hope that Ruger is going to, keep Marlin's price point and the quality rifles that they've been released as of late, and move forward with that seamlessly. Sierra Bullets, I do believe, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I think Sierra Bullets has acquired the ammunition manufacturer Barnes. So Sierra Bullets, I just can't say enough about Sierra. We use their products all the time, so hopefully they absolutely, bring that market back down in. There's a couple other pieces and parts that I didn't commit to memory, but I do know Sig Sauer bid on the ammunition part of it. I really wanted Sig Sauer to end up with the Remington ammunition because I think that would have expanded Sig's viability as an ammunition loader, but maybe they have to take another turn at something else. I don't know, but it's good, like he said, that other pro 2A companies and stable businesses are getting these pieces and putting them. Yeah, we're not going to see it go away.
Yeah, that's the good thing is the capacity may actually increase.
Yeah,
with a bigger, some of these big players in there that may have the funds to get it rocking and rolling again.
Yeah,
like it was.
And this is why, as we approach the election season, we keep hammering on people. Elections matter, not just the presidential election. This Remington's downfall is from a couple of lawsuits. One of the biggest ones is the families of the Sandy Hook victims are still suing them, and they're, I think, approaching $1 billion in fees from that particular lawsuit, and that is what bankrupted this company, and that was their plan, was to bankrupt this company. I don't think it was their plan to see it broke up into more financially stable and more powerful companies that now, if they wanted to continue this, they would have to actually take all those people to court. And I'm not seeing it. So we hate to see Remington as a company go away, but hopefully someone will keep their name and the brand open. And we like to see these other companies.
Yeah, because they got
moving it forward.
Yeah, Remington has, the 870 and the 700 series. Those are
iconic.
Those are They're iconic for so.
Right.
Yeah, we really hate to see them go away. This one you could see coming a good 10 mile away. No action against killer of church shooter. Everybody knows this guy's face, hopefully.
Except Joe Biden.
Yeah, right.
He don't like it.
Jack Wilson shot and killed 43-year-old gunman Keith Thomas, who opened fire in a congregation and killed two people at the West Freeway Church of Christ in the White Settlement, Texas, on December 29th, 2019. The grand jury decided Monday to take no action against this man. My question is, why did the prosecutor even present it to the grand jury?
I think probably in this day and age, just to get away from any
Backlash, you think?
backlash,
Any
or anything like that.
prosecutorial backlash. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that prosecutor just didn't want to
Yeah.
take it. No, I put it to grand jury, and they said nope.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much
That was probably
it spelunks anything coming back around. I'll tell you that.
I kind of wouldn't surprise me if more and more stuff like that actually, where we've said before, prosecutors, a lot of times they get to pick their cases, stuff like that, and they'll look over the evidence, and they'll just not take cases, and they'll just decline to press charges, anything like that. Well, the other thing too is, was he formally charged,
I don't know this.
or was it just a grand jury to bring
This
up
says-
charges?
Tim Rogers, a prosecutor with the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office, said Monday that Texas law allows a person witnessing someone placing others at risk of serious injury or death to act with deadly force to protect those others, just like here in the state of Ohio. Mr. Wilson did just that. He did it responsibly, and as a result, he was justified under the law in his actions. Based upon the grand jury's decision, the law enforcement investigation and our review of the case are complete. We believe the grand jury made the right decision. After the shooting, Governor Greg Abbott gave Wilson Texas's highest civilian honor, the Governor's Medal of Courage. So I would imagine that the prosecutor brought this to the grand jury knowing that it was going nowhere, and he wanted to see it go nowhere. And not to say that they did a bad investigation or anything like that. I looks like they did a proper and thorough investigation into why this guy opened fire.
Yeah,
but
I think you got a
with a no bill and a grand jury, that would bar anybody else from
Trying to retry
him under the double jeopardy law. So
that's what I would
probably
bring up.
Reading between the lines in that statement, that's what that tells me.
And that's what I was wondering is if they did it that way, and if you're going to maybe start seeing some more stuff like this, so that once it's all said and done, wasn't because if they never if that prosecutor never brought you up on charges,
they can still go.
They can 10 years
statute of limitations.
Unless there's a statute of limitations. If it's a homicide, essentially, self-defense. At least if you kill someone, even if it's self-defense, it's still classified as a homicide. Get a different prosecutor and a different group of people out there, and you were never charged with something, they could theoretically try to bring charges up a lot later. So doing stuff like this where it just closes that down, where now you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that would.
And
that seems like the way to handle that. The Ninth Circuit panel here's a challenge to the carry law in Hawaii. If anybody knows anything about Hawaii, Hawaii is actually, we talk about New York, we talk about Chicago and California with their goofy gun laws and stuff like that. Hawaii is the worst one. Hawaii has essentially had a de facto ban on pistols and carry for years. Somebody did a study, and this is several years old. I don't know if it's like this now or not, but I think it was 2004, 2008, somewhere in there, that 2 people had Hawaii concealed handgun licenses. 2 out of the whole state. And they bought and paid for them because they were some kind of celebrities.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
The challenge of Hawaii's ban on open carry of firearms without a license received another day in court. For the state and resident challenging the law squared off in front of an en banc panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's Young versus Hawaii is an important case when it comes to the right to carry. 3-judge panel on the Court of Appeals has already ruled the law violates the Constitution. Rights of residents by requiring them to demonstrate a justifiable need to carry beyond the right of self-defense. State of Hawaii decided to appeal that decision to a broader panel of Ninth Circuit judges rather than take the case directly to the Supreme Court. So what this means is they had a 3-judge panel. Now they're going, I think it's 9 judges. Nope, 11 judges. Arguing before an 11-judge en banc panel. The en banc means that it's the entire court. Katayo explained that Hawaii state law and the County of Hawaii's regulations do not limit open carry permits to security guards. He cited that Hawaii Attorney General's 2018 guidance stated that an applicant can obtain an open carry permit by demonstrating a need to carry a firearm for protection that substantially exceeds the need possessed by ordinary law-abiding citizens. In that statement, that's a constitutional infringement.
Yeah, ordinary law-abiding citizen. I'm a citizen of the United States.
Essentially, what they're telling you is that you're a citizen. Any need that exceeds any other citizen's need is acceptable. But if it's your need, it's not acceptable. Mm-hmm. That essentially says that all needs in the state have to have some kind of egregious reason to get one of these. Yeah. That if the Ninth Circuit says that this is constitutional, that it's going to be insanity. It will absolutely go to the Supreme Court.
Well, the next sentence there too.
Yeah,
if they have good cause.
They had good cause. That's what Hawaii's law actually is. Implored the judges not to focus on data showing that only security guards have obtained open carry permits. The courts must instead look at the plain text of the statute.
Well, don't focus on what we've actually done. Read how we wrote it.
Yeah. It's like, don't look at the evidence, but here's a note. Here's a note that says what we're going to do here. This is right. You take my note. It's like a hall pass for an ID. No. Ninth Circuit Judge Ryan Nelson, a Donald Trump appointee, said he interprets the text of the county's regulations as only allowing security guards to obtain open carry permits. You would agree that regulation itself is unconstitutional, meaning the Second Amendment will not permit that, Nelson asked. Cattell replied that the court need not reach the question of constitutionality because any rule that would limit permits to security guards is flatly inconsistent with Hawaii's state law.
What? That's just
don't worry about the constitutionality because Hawaii state law's got this covered.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Constitution beats state. Numbnuts.
The state of Hawaii is trying a legal strategy very similar to what New York City did in the recent NYSRPA versus New York City case. In that case, they said that you weren't allowed to transport your legally possessed firearm outside of New York City limits, which is like you can't take it out of here. Yeah, if you move away, it's illegal for you to take that out of here. And they did prosecute people for that.
Well, if you look on some of the New York hunting forums and stuff like that, there's a lot of people. They live in New York City. They rent crappy apartments outside the city limits to keep all their hunting stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's been $300 a month renting somebody's garage loft just to put their hunting stuff so they can keep their hunting rifle in there.
Now this says the 2018 guidance from the state's attorney general theoretically allows someone who's not a security guard to obtain a license to openly carry a firearm. But as Katiel himself was forced to admit, no citizen has actually obtained a license to carry. So here we go. State of Hawaii, big old goose egg. The state's prohibition on open carrying dates back more than 150 years and should be upheld as constitutional based on the long-standing nature of the statute.
So when did you leave the United States of America?
They didn't.
It was 1789?
Yeah.
The Constitution was ratified? At least the Bill of Rights?
Yep.
So, despite the long history lesson, Ninth Circuit Judge Sandra Ikuda, a George Bush appointee who joined O'Scanlan in ruling against Hawaii's open carry restriction in 2018, seemed unimpressed. The history, which I find very ambiguous, your argument as to the history is merely that this right to bear arms is not a core right, so that it can be restricted. Is that correct? Ikuda asked. No, Ketiel replied. You can see it as a core right, but it's always been subject to a good cause restriction in every time period, which is dead wrong, which is why these are getting overturned constantly. Mm-hmm. So the Ninth Circuit's proclaimed there's no constitutional right to carry a concealed firearm in its decision in a case called Peruta versus San Diego. Three-judge panel originally declared that good cause requirement to carry a concealed firearm in San Diego violated the Second Amendment, but Judge Darmuid O'Scanlan's opinion was undone by an en banc panel that reversed the decision in 2016. So, Attorney Alan Beck, who's representing George Young in his challenge to the Hawaii law, argued on Thursday that even under the 2018 guidance from the state's attorney general, the right of the average citizen to carry is being violated because of the unbridled discretion given to police chiefs to approve or deny licenses. Exactly. One of the biggest issues is justifiable need or good cause requirement to obtain a license. Several other appellate courts, including the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, have struck down similar requirements for concealed carry licenses as a violation of the Second Amendment. With a split in the lower courts, the case would seem ripe for an eventual review by the Supreme Court. Here's the thing. This article was written before the untimely death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I would bet in the Supreme Court has not taken a Second Amendment case in
5 years,
17 years.
Yeah.
Well, I know, and
2008.
I know earlier in
the Heller decision.
Well, earlier in the spring, Kavanaugh was calling the Supreme Court out on that.
Yeah.
We've got this entire docket of cases that none of you people have wanted to touch, and we're going to touch them now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
so there's a lot of New York. There's a lot of East Coast.
Well, that
North
NYSRPA case was one of the ones that he wanted to look at,
Pittsburgh,
and they wouldn't do it. And I think they wouldn't do it because Kennedy is the flip-flop judge, and I think he already said that he would vote
John
against
Roberts.
that.
They don't know about him.
Yeah. So I think now with this next appointment, and I think it's probably going to go through. And I apologize, I forget her name, but
Amy Barrett.
Yeah, Amy Barrett. Essentially, that will put enough justices on the Supreme Court to squash this crap. So
Well, there's a lot of opposition to her on the Supreme Court because she's a devout Catholic, but there's not a lot of opposition to Joe Biden because he's a devout Catholic. Does that make sense?
no, that don't make any sense at all. Okay, what do we got here?
Yeah, Joe Biden wears rosary beads.
Well, he's going to be sued by Kyle Rittenhouse for libel.
Yeah.
Well, the leader of the Proud Boys is getting ready to file suit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's a black Cuban.
Black Cuban. But he's a white supremacist.
Oops.
Yeah, that's...
There's like it's like
there's
like three guys that are like the leaders of the Proud Boys. One's a white dude, one's a Hispanic dude, and the top dude, the guy that started it all, he's a black Cuban. And he said that he called it the other. I saw a news article. He said we're not that. He's like we're a drinking club with a patriot problem.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In any event, an attorney representing alleged Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse has announced plans to sue the Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden in his campaign for libel. That means defamation of character. On his client's behalf after Biden shared a video that appears to suggest the teenager is a white supremacist. Lynn Wood, Rittenhouse's civil attorney, confirmed to Fox News on Wednesday his intention to sue the former vice president in his campaign on the client's behalf just hours after Biden posted a 50-second clip to Twitter.
Lynn Wood, the money man.
There's no other way to put it. The President of the United States refused to disavow white supremacists on the debate stage last night. And then apparently it goes on to, on behalf of Kyle Rittenhouse, I shall sue Joe Biden and Biden-Harris campaign for libel. I am partisan in 2020 supporting Donald Trump. I am nonpartisan trial lawyer who aggressively pursues truth to achieve justice. Put in your hearing aid, Joe. You will hear footsteps. That's awesome.
Well, that's Lynn Wood's he's the guy with the why can't I think of his name? The kid that sued CNN.
Yeah, I know who you're talking. See his face. The one who was supposedly laughed in that Native American guy's face for playing his drum. But
Yeah.
he wasn't actually laughing. That guy, yeah, the whole thing was a mess.
Yeah. He's the one that
So
got
that's
all
pretty
that
cool.
big money out of CNN for him.
Yeah. Awesome. Go for it. Hopefully he sues them hard enough they run out of money.
Yeah. Take some of them liberals' money and put it in your pocket.
Yeah, right?
Nah, they got the Clinton Foundation. They got lots.
Didn't they get rid of the Clinton Foundation? Didn't they close that up? Didn't she get sued for something?
Oh,
I don't
think so.
I don't know, whatever. Products of the week. It's getting all to be hunting season.
Yeah, it's getting on to be hunting season. We got some stuff here. This is a recoil pad for your rifle or shotgun. You know,
Those work.
This is Butler Creek. Allen makes them. There's several different brands that make them.
Looks like
Big,
Facebook's being
small, medium, large. Some of them got a bigger case for recoil suppression on the back than most. You know. Also, don't forget one of these if you're going deer hunting. This will get you in a whole heap of trouble with the game warden. You don't have one of these. Orange vest with 9 square inches or something like that. And then I don't know. I don't remember anymore. But
did we lose our Facebook feed?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. Anyway.
There it goes.
Fix it.
There it goes.
Want to start over?
No, let's keep going.
Anyway, you're gonna be dragging a gun around in the woods. You ought to have one of these to help yourself along. Got some slings here. Most of the good ones comes with swivels attached, but some of them you can get some Magpoles that have several different kinds of attachment points on them. You can get paracord slings. You can get rubber slings, rubberized slings, and just all kinds of different stuff. That one's got cushion on the back.
That's a nice padded one, but looks like this one's got one-handed adjustment.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, they run from, I'm going to say, $12, $14 up to maybe $100. Depending on what kind you want, how fancy you want it, et cetera, and what kind of
this looks like this is a quick adjust sling too, which is nice. You can cinch them up real quick and loosen them off and get them off of you. And
this here goes. This is a buttstock shot shell holder. They also have them for rifle shells. They get them right there where you need them. If you have to take a shot and reload, mostly elastic loops. Kind of got to watch it if you swipe your hand on it, but they work pretty well. I've had one of these for years. And along with a hat, stuff like that, decent clothes, keep yourself dry and warm. You